Check, 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 check.
All right, we're back.
We're back after many weeks of hiatus.
It's been a month.
My goodness.
Yeah.
But a lot's happened. In
Yeah.
many different realms. But the most important thing is Jesus rose from the dead. He died. He actually rose, and your own beloved mother passed away.
She did indeed.
Yeah.
See how I combine those?
Well, you know,
he rose. He did indeed.
She will indeed rise as well. It was a beautiful funeral at beautiful St. Michael's, and prayers for your family. How you all holding up?
Oh, fine. You know, grief comes and goes. I mean, it's like some little thing you're just like crying, or you just tear up about something. But I think that's also having like surgery at car. Like you easily cry.
Sure.
Being on narcotics, you definitely cry more. I'm not on those anymore, but like you definitely a lot more emotional on narcotics.
Yeah.
I don't know. I am, I guess.
Yeah.
Maybe not. I don't know. Maybe that was just the hospital. We can get to that.
Now, you're talking about narcotics and things, but I don't know if everybody knows that you recently had, I mean, again, we're talking about a lot going on 30 days, including having major surgery on your mouth. Yeah,
if I sound like I'm a little maybe drunk, it's because my bottom lip doesn't move yet. They're just the right side. It kind of looks like I have a bottom lip stroke. Like my whole face isn't like slouched like a stroke. But it's certainly swollen and numb, and the muscles aren't back yet. I'm not sure if it's a slur, or it's probably not like a lisp, or it's kind of like, you go to the dentist and within that first
Novocaine.
4 hour, the Novocaine. But it's been a month, so
Well, tell us about the surgery. What was it? What's
Well,
the
I
background
had
here?
a cyst in my jaw that was taking over the jaw, and it was eroding the integrity of the bone, so like it could have broken pretty easily.
Yeah.
So they had to cut that out, test it, and make sure it wasn't cancerous. It was not. It was just a benign.
Praise God.
I forget what the word is. Osteodental cyst or whatever, like cyst. Jaw cyst, dental cyst, and it didn't erode any under the teeth or anything. It wasn't under my teeth. It was way behind it.
Okay.
But they had to take it out, and they took a significant portion of my jaw out, so much so that they had to replace it with other bone that they took from my leg, my fibula. I forgot to I was going to bring in the thing today for lunch. I have a 3D printout of my jaw and how they put the bone in and stuff. So.
Wow.
Yeah, it's kind of cool. They took about 4.5 inches of my fibula.
Where is the fibula?
It's the non-shin bone in your lower leg.
Okay.
So your lower leg is a tibia and a fibula. The tibia is big and weight-bearing.
Okay.
It bears all the weight, actually, and is your knee joint as well. The tibia forms kind of 2 nodules at the top and is your knee joint, and then your fibula kind of joins it just under that, and then is the outside of your ankle as well. So it's like the outside of your ankle, and then it kind of in your shin muscle.
It's incredible.
So
they can take bones from part of your body, connected to other parts. That's magic.
Yeah, as Pat Connolly said, I will almost always have my foot in my mouth. Yeah. But it's not quite. It's my leg.
Right.
Yeah, so I wanted to have some reflections on being in the hospital, surgery. But also, well, do you want to talk about any racing coming up or no?
Racing? No, no racing.
Okay, no racing. Never mind.
Coming
Just
up.
kidding.
Just still running, still enjoying it. It's it's a remarkable, and you know this. We've talked about this before. How many, not only life lessons, but also lessons for the spiritual life are found in running. And everything between 90% is mental. You just got to do it. You got to eat well. You got to, find the right pace. You got to find the right motivation. What headspace you got to be in to do it. All these sorts of things. It's been great, though. It's been good for me, and it continues.
So I wasn't talking gibberish, peeps.
No, definitely not.
As the kids say, though, now, I'm jelly.
What's that
mean? I'm very jelly.
What's that mean?
Jealous.
Oh, jelly. Okay.
I'm very jealous. I can't run. I can bike. I've biked. I mean, to say that I can bike is kind of like saying that I'm a runner, in that I can get on my bike and pedal.
Okay.
But it's pretty weak right now. I think I averaged 15 and a half miles an hour or something.
Did they give you a sense as to when you'll be able to run again?
I'm guessing in I think I'll be able to jog in maybe a week or so. I'm guessing.
That's great.
I don't know. I try a little bit in the living room, but
sure.
Yeah, I can't quite jump. I can walk normal-ish.
Okay.
Yeah, I think in a week or so.
Okay.
I'll be able to jog. Maybe just I'll be able to do a little bit of plyometrics and jumping and stuff.
Okay.
And then I'm guessing in 2 weeks I can maybe jog a half mile.
Okay.
And then I'll lead up.
I'm sure there'll be a relief. I mean, for somebody who likes to run, that's got to be really hard.
Well, I wouldn't say I like to run. I wouldn't say I like to run.
But it's part of your routine, part of your life.
I enjoy yeah. That's a tough word. I appreciate the rigor of running, and I find a lot of value in it. Yeah, I guess there's some joy in it. There's some.
I remember
just the joy of vigor of life,
Yeah, no, amen. A couple of months ago, you gave me that book about I hate running.
And
you can too.
Yeah,
I've read parts of it. I need to read the rest of it.
It's kind of a satire, jokes about running, and it's true though.
It is, and it again, I think it just highlights some of those spiritual principles that it's hard. It's hard work. It's not, in some sense. I mean, you don't want to say it's unnatural because it's very natural, but it means that you have to exert energy, and it can be painful in certain senses. It stretches you. These things are things that we don't like to do naturally, most of us at least.
Book likes to. It's a comedy a little bit. It's in a very accurate sense of comedy. In that it brings to light the absurdities of running.
Yeah.
There's some funny graphs in it, the first half mile you want to kill yourself and you hate it.
Right.
The next 3 miles you love it and you feel wonderful, and then the last mile you just want it over with, and your desire, the desire to go running, there's graphs on the desire to go running, which is it's really funny in that the true sense of comedy. Fulton Sheen always said that God is the best comedian because he can reveal to us the absurdities and the inside outness of our life to us, and that's what good comedians do. That's why punchlines are funny, because they show you this trueness that is kind of an absurdity of life that's hilarious. I mean, the best example in some ways, mainly because of the way he delivered it, is kind of Jerry Seinfeld. What's the deal with that?
Thinking the same thing.
Yeah, he's just talking about life. What's the deal with this weirdness of life?
Right.
We go to a sports game and I wear this guy's pajamas, or I wear his jersey, I wear his outfit.
That's right.
To the game.
It's kind of silly.
And then he trades teams and I hate him now because he's wearing a different pajamas.
Some great observational comedy, absolutely.
So yeah, it's kind of showing us the absurdities. That book's funny, yeah.
Did you experience any comedy in the hospital?
No. It was all it was all tragedy.
Yeah, well, let's talk about that. Let's talk about your experience.
Lessons from the hospital. I think the first lesson definitely was going there. And just, it's actually kind of, you mentioned it this weekend in your homily, being able to being able to have compassion. I was looking up words, and none of them are really that great. Even empathy is not quite getting at it, or even sympathy, or even compassion to, to be passionate with. It's kind of weird. But I think in some ways it's, being able to care that other people are carrying different burdens, and you don't know what they are. And you really, like you got to walk a mile in someone's shoes. It's kind of a cliche, but it's extremely true. And even the thought of, for example, what's the furthest you've run now?
Oh gosh, maybe 15, 16 miles.
Yeah. So 15, 16 miles. And you probably had an idea of what running 15 or 16 miles was when you started.
Yep.
And it was horrible. Like, I can never do that. Oh, yeah, there's no way. But then the experience of running that mileage is almost holistically different. It's like either better or worse, or, like the actual experience of it is just vastly different. And that was the case for me. So the first observation is, just driving to the hospital, we left at like 5 a.m. You got to be there at 5:30. I had to be there. And, you're driving with people that are probably just like going to work, and just looking out. I mean, this can happen,
This is on the highway you're talking about.
Yeah. Okay. Just like, just in life too, just looking out, and people, it's easy to think that people are all kind of really similar to you. Like, they're probably kind of doing the same thing I'm doing, and they're going to the game, or they're going to work, and blah, 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 But there's some people driving to funerals that are driving at 5 a.m.
Yep.
There's some people driving to a surgery that they're really scared out of their mind for. There's some people driving, home from a relationship that they hate. There's some people in a car with someone that's abusing them.
Yep.
There's some people driving home from the greatest day of their life. And it's just really easy to judge people and to kind of think that they're similar to you. And I was astounded by the amount of people having a surgery that morning. Wow. So I got there, and it was like a cattle call. It was nothing like I experienced before. I've had many surgeries before, and it's never been, I guess, I don't know. This was at, what's it called, in Minneapolis? I forgot what it's called. Abbott Northwestern.
Oh, sure,
yeah.
Yep.
So a very large hospital complex, really. It's huge. And I mean, I was like one of probably 50 or 60 people
in the waiting room.
Yeah, at 5 a.m.
Wow.
So I mean, we got there at like 5:30. And they're just like cattle calling, like Bob Johnson,
right?
Tim Johnson, like, you guys related? No, Susie John. I mean, it was crazy, and just to think that we're driving on the road, and there's like 50, 60 people just driving to Abbott Northwestern to have a surgery. Like, and they're, some people are getting put out, some people are having big surgeries, some people are having, tumors cut out that are saving their lives. Some people are having surgeries that are extending their lives. Some people are having surgeries that may not go well, and they might die today. I mean, it's just kind of so that was my first reflection of just, and you probably experienced this as a priest. Just, I mean, you could have a baptism and a funeral on the same day.
And a marriage and a wedding
and a wedding. And you have to, console the people having a funeral and be jubilant with the people baptizing and having a wedding. So, I mean, this is probably kind of second nature to you, but it's certainly not second nature to most people. And I think it would behoove us to think about that sometimes.
Yeah.
And to just to think about whatever that your neighbor,
no, it's
you
true.
You may see them outside every once in a while, but like, you really have no clue what's happening, and to pray for them and to care for them and to try to love them and to try to know what's actually happening. I mean, that's one of the major themes here, is that love is incarnate.
It is personal.
Love is in the flesh, and it's very easy to keep people at a distance, and to get to know them and to get to know their story is to love them better. So I don't know if you have any other priestly observations from that.
Yeah, no, I think it's beautiful.
Get to see it.
Yeah, and you're right. I do see it, and I have lived it, and it is it's wondrous. It can also be exhausting because people are in such different spots, and you can go from the highest points in people's lives to the very lowest. I mean, I remember especially at the cathedral, because we would have so many different people coming there. I do remember one day where it almost was literally what we just said a moment ago. A very sad funeral in the morning, a beautiful, wonderful wedding in the afternoon. I think we had confirmation that weekend too. We were assisting at a wide variety of experiences. Certainly, people come for confession. Again, all kinds of different brokenness, all kinds of different wounds that need to be healed. It is, love demands a willingness to enter into that, whatever it is. It's love can't simply observe from afar. And we receive according to the mode of the receiver. So you're exactly right. We make all sorts of assumptions that other people not only are like us, but also have similar triggers or similar anxieties perhaps, or similar struggles, when that's just not the case at all. Mm-hmm. But to really walk with them and to really love them requires an openness to that, an openness to where they are at, and to honor that. But I think it's a beautiful reflection for people as they're on the road, to look out on the highway. I mean, keep your eyes on the highway, but as you look around, what are these people going through, and to pray for them, whatever struggles they have, whatever burdens they carry, to pray for them, I think could be a very beautiful practice. And then in our own individual lives, in our family's life, in our colleagues' life, to be willing to be a part of that, to enter into that, not to shy away from that. That's pretty important, because that's what the Lord does. Mm-hmm. He carries our burdens. He carries he carries our crosses.
Yeah. I think for me, the other thing to think about was, how does the things that I'm carrying in my life come out sideways? And it's easy to judge someone else's sideways reactions because they're different than mine.
Right.
Mine are whatever. I don't know. I get short and I'd have to think about it a little bit more, but I get a little short, or I separate myself, or I go for a bike ride, or I don't say anything. Other people might, say, bad jokes. They might get really sarcastic.
Right.
They might lash out. They might distance themselves into things like, why are you doing that? And to be able to understand ourselves sometimes is to be able to understand other people a little bit better. Why do I do those things? Oh yeah, I do that because of this, and then understand that other people do things differently, and those things come out sideways too, and to love them and to pray for them. And yeah, good. Second thing, hospital observations, and I hope this doesn't come out ultra pious, because it's not. But don't waste your suffering. Mm-hmm. And I don't mean this in an offer it up sense, because I was not in a place to offer it up. But for me, when I'm in suffering, there is definitely a closeness to the Lord. Mm-hmm. At least he draws himself close, or I don't know. I guess I just prayer is really easy when I'm suffering. Well, and it's not just like, oh, please, God, get me out of this.
Yeah.
There's definitely some of that. But also there's, he went through this. He cares. Like, it's easy to, when life is going good, to not care about God's closeness, I guess. It's just like, it's easy to kind of think that I have it under control.
Right.
And when you have no control, like your face hurts so bad that, for example, they took out 4.5 inches from my leg. Wow. And they're like, does your leg hurt? How's the leg feel? And I was like, I don't even feel it because my face hurts so bad.
The jaw pain.
It reminds me of the movie Major Pain. You ever see that?
Sure.
And he's like, the kid was saying something hurt. And he's like, let me give you something to take your mind off that pain. He was going to break his finger. Right. That's kind of what it felt like. It was like, how does your leg feel that we sawed out almost 5 inches? Yeah. And it's like, well, I don't really feel it until I walk.
Rather preoccupied.
When I walk, it hurts like it's broken.
Yeah.
But my face hurts so bad that it feels like a hangnail on my leg.
Yeah, right.
So for me, the not wasting your suffering was just, the Lord was very close, and to kind of go through the passion and to realize He is a God that, I'm going to try not to cry here. He's a God that loves us, and He went through the worst of it. Mm-hmm. And for me, my mom was the first person that told me to read the book of Job when I was suffering through cancer, and in a similar situation, very similar situation, miserable, pain. Chemo is just it's just miserable. You just, I've explained it to people, like, you ever been seasick? Or it's like being seasick for 6 months.
Oof.
So, and it just gets old, it's like, I try to explain it to someone else, like, you ever have a cold and then it just lingers for 2 weeks and you're like, I'd rather just chop my face off than experience this cold for any longer, you know? And that's kind of what it's like in some ways, like, oh, the agony of it continuing. And to know that Job, I was not trying to feel sorry for myself, but I thought, well, this was easily the worst pain I've ever felt in my life. Maybe 10 times worse than anything. I've had broken bones and surgeries and chemo and a heart attack and pulmonary embolisms. All very painful. This was 10 times worse. And it's not, I'm not like a prisoner of the moment. It's not just because it was so acute or just because it was a month ago. It was actually way worse than, I've never had that. They gave me a bottle full of narcotics after I had my heart attack. I didn't use a single one. It was just, I was fine, I think I maybe had one. It was like the first day I left, But narcotics were a necessity. It was just agonizing.
Yeah.
So to continue to suffer through that and to think about Job, for me, I like to think about people that had it worse.
Sure.
And to not feel sorry for myself.
Yep.
For me at least, it's an easy way to not feel sorry for myself. To think about the other people in the hospital, because as I was leaving after you have surgery, there's kind of like a recovery room before you can go into actual recovery, and then you get a bed for the night if you're staying overnight. And the first, recovery, they were giving me some very powerful pain meds. I won't name them. And they were just trying to get my pain under control, and it was excruciating. But there was a guy next to me that was like screaming for pain. He's just like screaming, and I can totally relate because that's the way I felt. And it was easy for me to not feel sorry for myself and to pray for him.
Yeah.
And I think it was a guy. That's what the screaming sounded like, a guy scream. And to pray for him and say, Lord, whatever I'm feeling, I hope that I can offer it for his suffering and that he can feel better.
Yeah.
But also, I'm thinking of like wartime people. That for me, the pain was so bad I had to go to like war. Like people being blown up. Their legs being dismantled or whatever.
To find someone had it worse than you.
Yeah. To think of like, okay, Job, Jesus, anyone crucified, of course.
Sure.
And then like cannonball wounds and war. Because I've just never experienced a pain like that. And I thought, those people had it way worse. Don't feel sorry for yourself.
Yeah.
Pray. But also it was a great consolation to know that I have a Savior that
Yep.
And he suffered for me. And also, the story of Job is I like because for me it's a story of divine providence in that Job does not get answers. He doesn't get a theodicy.
Right.
Everyone thinks Job is about theodicy. It's not. He doesn't get a theodicy. God does not tell him your suffering is because of this and blah, 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 and it's salvific and blah, blah, blah. He says, hey, where were you, bro?
Right.
Where were you when I created everything? I'm God. I have a plan. Be okay with that.
Yeah.
I mean, say those things.
Yeah.
But that's the message I get.
Yeah.
And Job is faithful.
Yes.
His wife is asking him to yell at God, basically.
Right. Yeah.
And he says, the Lord gives.
Not going to do it.
And the Lord takes away.
Blessed be the name of the Lord.
Blessed be the name of the Lord.
Yeah.
And that is the most profound understanding of divine providence. God gives us good things some days.
Yeah.
Some days, not so good things.
Yeah.
Blessed be the name of the Lord.
Yeah.
And sometimes I choose those. Sometimes my choices create those bad things.
Sure.
But blessed be the name of the Lord no matter what. Because I have faith in him and I know he's in control.
Yeah. You spoke a little bit about this at our Lenten retreat, but do you think, and I suppose time will tell, but do you think you'll be a better man because of this surgery, this most recent surgery?
I don't know. Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
I mean, I think, it just gives...
Not only in terms of your skeletal structure, but
no,
in terms of your soul.
I'm going to look different for sure. Right now, my face still doesn't work, so Shelly's still having a hard time getting used to it.
Sure.
Smiles wonky, and every time I talk, and I still bite my lip, for goodness sake. Like I can't eat anything without chomping on my dead lip. And the problem is I can't even feel it. Yeah, for sure. I mean, to be more compassionate, to be merciful, and to reach out. That was the third thing is vulnerability, and people from the parish just really loving our family, and not only because of the surgery, but the funeral as well. I mean, people were extraordinarily generous. I've experienced a lot of generosity in my life from people at churches and through my dad's funeral and life, but this takes the cake. I mean, people were extraordinarily generous and very much loving Shelley and Teresa and providing food and care and babysitting and lots of people to thank. So people were exceedingly generous, and that's another lesson from the hospital too, is just the vulnerability of that to allow people to take care of you. It's an easy temptation to say no.
Sure.
I can do this, I'm fine, blah blah blah. But it's actually allowing people to love you when you say, no, I need some help. I would really... Now, I was in a place where I, couldn't afford to not accept it.
Sure.
I was worthless, And Shelley needed the help too, so it wasn't like, I'm fine, or... I guess Shelley certainly could have done that, and we could have. But it's a way to allow people to love you, and it's not necessarily easy.
Yeah.
And it's... and even the nurses too. I mean, it's a way to... I don't know if they were loving me, but they were certainly taking care of me. I was pretty worthless in helping me do anything. I mean, there's a certain vulnerability. I liken it to vomiting, being in the hospital.
Okay.
So my likening to it is, sometimes people want to visit you in the hospital, and I don't like that. I don't think anyone actually does. And but in some ways it's a whatever. I don't want to get into it. I don't want to judge other people. However, I only want people to visit me in the hospital that I'm okay with seeing me vomit.
Sure, understood.
Because it's exceedingly vulnerable.
Absolutely.
I mean, like you're in the hospital and I didn't have like regular clothes on, for goodness sakes. I'm wearing a robe.
Right.
And you like have a sheet that's covering up your livelihood.
Right.
That's a
little vulnerable.
That's a little awkward. That's why I liken it to vomiting.
Yeah.
You know, if you have the flu, who are you comfortable having over to your house when you have the flu?
Yeah.
And that
list is pretty small.
Quite small. It's quite small. But people are like, "Oh, can I come visit you?" I mean, they think it's a way to like care for you.
Right.
But you're like, no, just like I believe in the power of prayer.
Yeah.
And you can do that anywhere.
Yeah.
You don't need to,
Yeah.
I'm happy with a priest coming because, if I need to, they can hear my confession. They can pray with me. That's quite different. Yep. I was very happy. Shout out to Father Marcus Millis. I got to see him a couple times. I mean, he's a friend. I wouldn't, he could see me vomit too. That's fine. So that was nice. And you were able to come, but I mean, I could only have one person visit.
Right.
Teresa couldn't come. She's under 5. They wouldn't let kids under 5 come. So, yeah, I think the vulnerability and allowing people to love you is a big thing, and I think that can be something that can be extended.
Right.
All of these can outside of the hospital.
Oh, no question.
To allow people into our lives to love us and care for us, even in ways that it's not like, oh, I can't do this, but it'd be great to have a babysitter and I could go on a date, but it's easy to say like, oh, no, we're fine. And then you never have a date and you're like miserable because your child's with you for 24/7.
I think about some of the older folks who are beginning to lose their own independence. Yeah. And I know for many folks that's a real surrender. And I can imagine, I can only imagine because I value my independence so much. One might even say religiously. The idea of depending upon another, surrendering your own care for yourself, that is a real crucifixion, and it's a real dying to self. But it's so necessary. But we don't have to wait until we're, please God, in the hospital or older to accept that assistance.
Yeah, you need some help chopping a tree down. Sure, you can do it all by yourself, but it's actually more fun to have another chainsaw because...
Yeah,
more chainsaws the better.
Yes,
my
indeed.
Philosophy of life.
I'm going to do a timeout because I think is that Kim Connolly out there? All right, come on in. You want to do a shout out in the podcast?
Do you need him?
No.
Okay, we'll close out in 2 minutes.
It's actually quite appropriate for the topic.
We'll close out.
Yeah, very good.
Yeah, we need help.
All right,
Teresa's sick,
this
so
is an emergency
go.
stop. Justin, been a great conversation. Great to have you back. Beautiful lessons, and let's all pray for the grace to be open to them, for compassion, for not wasting our suffering, for being open to other people helping us and loving us.
Amen.
Sweet.
Thanks, Father.
Peace out.
We'll be back next week.
Bigger and better than ever.
Amen.
Adios.